And our final name this week, I would like to hand it over to my friend Kevin Smith, because this gentleman's name was Alan Rickman, one of the great actors of our generation, who got his break, like many of these actors, on Broadway, and then, of course, made his first major film performance in a movie called Die Hard, where he played Hans Gruber, of course, and went on to build an impressive career after that. Of course, the Harry Potter films as Professor Snape, and, Sweeney Todd, Die Hard, we just mentioned
We just said that?
Yeah.
Flagged.
What about Die Hard? Fucking say Die Hard. And what's that Bruce Willis movie he was in? The one with the big building. That one, too. Galaxy Quest. Love Actually. Sense and Sensibilities. Truly, Madly, Deeply. And a film that's one of my favorites of a certain director named Dogma. Also starring. Lost his battle with cancer this week at the age of 69, and I know how upsetting it is for you, and I'm sorry you lost your friend.
I'll try to get through it. Fucking, I saw this dude in a movie when I was a kid, this Die Hard picture that the lady was so interested in talking about at the Atlantic Highland Twin Cinema, and, I was a big Bruce Willis fan, and I went in there. I loved Moonlighting. I loved him. He's a pride of Penns Grove, New Jersey. He was like one of us, and he fucking made it. And not only was he a big TV star, but he was in this movie. He was frontline in this fucking movie. So I went to see him. I left there talking about the guy who played Hans Gruber, about Alan Rickman. Now, I wasn't a filmmaker then, and some would argue I'm still not to this day. But that came out, 88, 80, what was Die Hard, 86, 88, something like that?
That's
88.
Like
I was...
What about Die
Hard? Right on. Thanks, man. So I fell in love with that actor, man. Like, learned his name, looked up every fucking thing he could, and this is before there was an internet. So I started hunting this dude's work, because there's some actors that are just beyond fucking exceptional. The people like Gary Oldman or fucking Johnny Depp or John Lithgow or fucking John Malkovich. People that like don't just act. They like find a new way to express something. It goes beyond acting. They create real characters. Billy Bob Thornton did it in this movie. What was it called? Fucking A Perfect. What was that movie called with Billy Bob Thornton and Simple Plan.
Right.
He created a character in that movie. Doesn't seem like it's a performance at all. It just seems like a real fucking person. Alan Rickman's Hans Gruber felt like a real person. Alan Rickman's Sheriff of Nottingham felt like a fucking real person.
If you could do that in that film, you could do anything.
Pulled it off to the point, cancel Christmas. And it worked. Like, you don't sit there going, it's cartoonish. You're like, holy shit, that guy's pretty scary. And he's fucking charming and entertaining as well. So when I saw this dude in the movie, I never imagined like I'd be a filmmaker and shit like that. He was just this dude I liked, one of my favorite actors in the world, because he was bold. Anytime he fucking went up to bat, he fucking swung for the fences and shit and never fucking missed. He was impeccable at his job. A master fucking craftsman. So in 1997, a friend of mine goes, hey man, we had this movie out, Chasing Amy. He goes, hey man, I just spoke to Alan Rickman. And Alan Rickman's a massive fucking Chasing Amy fan. He loved that movie. And I was like, fucking Alan, really? Are you shitting me? Like, I love fucking Alan Rickman instead. And they're like, aren't you doing Dogma? Why don't you send him a script? So I sent him a script for Dogma, and he responded immediately. Like, and this was a dude who I was told when we sent him a script, they're like, don't expect a yes. He's fucking insanely picky. So when he said yes, I was like, he ain't that fucking picky, man. Like, holy shit. So he was the first non-friend to sign on to that movie. Like, Ben and fucking Matt and Jason Lee and Jason Mewes, those guys were friends. He was the first one that wasn't a friend who kind of stepped up and said, I like this quite a bit. And boy, did he fucking like it, man. Like, he wasn't there the whole show because he wasn't in. He was in maybe a total of 10 minutes in the movie or something like that. But his performance is so wonderful, you think he's in every fucking scene in the movie. While he was there, we put this giant wings harness on him. He was actually wearing it and shit. We had levers controlling it from another room. The wings are about 150 pounds on his back. And during the day of fucking opening them and closing them and shit, we fucking threw his back out in a big bad fucking way. And he still had to shoot the next day. And if you watch the movie, when he slides in at the table there at the restaurant, they're like, "What are we doing here?" And he's like, "Going out in style." And that's when he's just like, I say we get drunk because I'm all out of ideas. When he slides into that chair that night, like he could not fucking stand or sit. He was in such fucking agony. And I was like, "Alan, we can just fucking move this to another day." And he's like, "You don't have the budget. Kevin, it's a low budget movie." Like, oh my God, like you don't understand. Like, I'll get there. Like I worked with the man, but the man became a fucking friend. Like I have messages on my machine that I held for years of just this. "Kevin, it's Alan." Like, because it melted my heart each time. I'm like, that's fucking Hans Gruber calling my house, man. So even though his back was fucked up big time and shit, he insisted on fucking doing the scene. And I defy you to find a moment of pain in that performance. He's just as casual and elegant as he is in everything else. So he loved the movie, loved hanging out. I've told the story many times, but like he was the guy that like jumped up Muse's performance. Because I kept telling Jason in advance of Dogma, I was like, you can't fucking fool around. You got to memorize the script, man. Like not like fucking Mallrats or Chasing Amy and shit. You got to come correct because we got fucking real actors in the movie this time and shit. And he's like, "What? Like Affleck?" I was like, "I said real actors, man." He's like who? And I said, "We got Alan Rickman in this motherfucker." And he's like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "Alan Rickman? He's fucking Hans Gruber from Die Hard, man. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, that guy." He's like, "Bruce Willis?" I was like, "The other fucking guy." And he's like, "What about him?" I was like, "That dude's fucking British, dude. And Brits, they invented acting. So if you fucking snoochy booch him and shit, he's just gonna give you the hard fucking stare, man. You gotta be fucking on point for this guy. It's a big fucking deal. You can't fool around and shit." So cut to the first rehearsal I do with Jason. We're in Pittsburgh, we're at the hotel, and usually the process of rehearsal with Jason begins before everyone else because it takes a month to teach Jason how to be Jason. Right. He forgets. It's so fucking weird. So I sat down with him and I was like, "Where's your script?" And he's like, "I don't have it." And I was like, "Well, how the fuck are we going to fucking rehearse if you don't have your script?" He's like, "I don't need it." And I was like, "You don't need your script?" He's like, "Yeah, try me." So, all right. And I opened my script and I started reading the scene and he fucking did his dialogue. And I was like, "Oh shit, you memorized that scene." And he was like, "Try another." And I flipped through, tried another and shit. He memorized it. And I was like, "Jesus Christ, you memorized your scenes. I'm impressed." He's like, "I did. I memorized all the scenes." And I was like, "All the scenes you're in?" He's like, "All the scenes in the movie." And I was like, "You really?" He goes, "Try me." And I started reading Ben's lines, and he started saying Matt's lines back to me and shit. Started reading Linda's lines. He started reading Rock's lines back to me. And I was like, "Jesus fucking Christ, what are you, Rain Man? You memorized the whole fucking script, man." And he's like, "Yeah." I said, "Why'd you do that?" And he was like, "I don't want to piss off that Rickman dude, man." So the whole like process, I couldn't wait for these two to meet. Like I had met Alan prior to the production, and I couldn't wait for him to meet Jason. And it was love at first sight. Like he hung out with Jason on the movie. I'd be directing and shit. I'd be doing. It was a big cast, so you're always doing something. You didn't get to hang out as much as you did on other movies. But I would look over periodically off camera, and I would see Jason Mewes and Alan Rickman engaged in conversation. I'd be like, "What the fuck could those two have to say to each other?" But he could talk to anybody. Like, I'm here to tell you, like, this man was an exceptional fucking talent. Like, rarely in this life do you meet anybody as fucking good at their job as this man was at his job. Seriously. Let's just put that out there. It goes without saying. That's why we all know him. But he was such a fucking good dude. Like, a really fucking good dude. And here's how I know. When he died, the first thing I thought about was, fuck, I didn't get to tell him how important he was to me and my family. He was there for the origin of my relationship with my wife. He was there for the origin of my kid. I mean, he didn't watch us fuck, but he was there when it was going on. He always fucking asked about, "How's Holly?" You know, always fucking looked into her, asked about her and shit like that, would send gifts for her. When we wrapped on Dogma, he gave me this dog angel tree topper that you put on a fucking Christmas tree and stuff. And it has been on our Christmas tree since then. So it's almost 20 years ago. Every year it goes up on the fucking tree. Every year I go, "Oh, fucking Alan." We tell somebody the story about Alan Rickman gave us this and stuff. After the movie wrapped, the man like maintained a friendship with me. And this is what I was thinking about the other day. And I'm not saying, I got to explain this right. I never reached out to him because he was fucking Alan Rickman. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to bug that guy. But I hung out with that guy a lot. He went to a lot of family things. He went to like my wife's birthday and stuff. And I realized that every time he instigated that relationship, like he wanted to be fucking friends with me. And this was like a genius. Never fucking understood that in this life. But the dude actually fucking kind of liked me and liked my work. And so, dude was a dear friend, and he was like there throughout our entire fucking lives together, me and my wife and stuff. Anytime we went to England, there would be a phone call, and he would be like, I hear you're in town. Do you want to go to dinner? You know, and we would go out to eat and shit, and he would fucking like kill us with stories. Like he told us one fucking story where he was like, you know, I'm in New York now. He's doing a lot of fucking theater and stuff. He directed this play, I Am Rachel Corrie, which was wonderful, about this Palestinian girl who got killed. So he was there in New York for quite some time, and he's like, I finally broke down and got an apartment. And I was like, good for you, man. Where is it? And he goes, well, I can't do his accent the whole time. He goes, it's in Rafe Fiennes' building. And I was like, well, that's fucking ironic. And he goes, no, it's not ironic. It's scary. Because if any of these Potter fans find out that both Voldemort and Snape live in the same building,
You'll never be able to
they're going to bring it to the ground, man. Yeah. Fucking adorable. He had this, he had his wife. She became his wife in 2012. But he had his lifelong love was, and still is, Rima Horton, wonderful woman, who anytime we hung out with Alan, she was with us as well. Accomplished in her own right, politician, worked in the government and stuff like that. But their relationship goes back to
they met as teens, I think.
High school.
Yeah.
They moved in together in 1977, and they stayed each other's their whole lives. They finally got fucking married in 2012 when they were in New York, and like walked across the Brooklyn Bridge afterwards. And he said like she gave me I gave her a $200 ring, which she refuses to wear. And I don't know, man, the dude was fucking excellent. That's what really broke me up about it. It's like, yeah, it sucks. We're never going to see his work anymore, but he has such a wonderful body of work. You could always go to it. That's the great thing about film. I saw the man do a play. I saw him do Private Lives on Broadway, and he was fucking astounding, but I don't have a recording of that. I can't go back to it. It's one of those things that I experienced, and it just lives in my memory. Movies are beautiful like that. We'll have Alan forever. He's always going to be with us. Who's not going to be with us is the fucking sweetest man on earth that he was. He was so nice, dudes. Like, I'm serious. Like, you meet a lot of actors in this business, and they're all self-involved. This was one of the only actors I ever met. Didn't really give a shit about himself. Couldn't get him to talk about himself. He was always interested in your life. Like, just a fucking true gent, man. And when I heard that he fucking died, like, instantly fucking broke down because I hadn't seen him in 2 years. I'd spoken with him via email because he was like, I keep hearing from people that we're supposed to be doing a hockey something. Because he was, if you read my Hit Somebody scripts, he's the narrator, but it doesn't say narrator, it just says Alan Rickman. Whole fucking script. And he was meant to, he was meant to play Lord Stanley as well. That ain't gonna happen anymore. Anyway, dude was amazing. Fucking amazing. Like, everything about him was fucking great. And the fact that he's gone has been really fucking oddly difficult all week. Strange.
I don't think it's so strange.
Well, you don't realize how fucking important some people are. Like, for a while I was like, yeah, of course, Alan Rickman, he's a big part of my career. He was beyond part of my career, dude. He was part of my fucking DNA. So much so that when I heard he was gone, I was like, no, I didn't get to fucking tell him. I didn't get to put him on a podcast. Like, first episode of Smodcast, I say, we should get people on this. We should interview Alan Rickman. I've been doing that show for 9 years, and I never fucking did it. And now I'll never get a chance to do it. And all I have are the memories of the time I spent with the guy. So that's something. It's pretty important. Let's roll the clip. Fuck. Yeah, it really is.
Let's take a look at Alan's work in Dogma. This is where Metatron first shows up in Bethany's apartment, and he shows up as a column of fire. He is Metatron, the voice of God, and she quickly extinguishes him with a fire extinguisher.
This is when we fucked up his back.
Yeah. You get to watch his back being fucked up.
Oh, sweet Jesus, do you have to use the whole can?
Who the fuck are you? What the fuck are you doing in my room?
I'm the one that's soaked and she's the one that's surly. That's rich.
Stop fucking crying.
Get the fuck out of here! Now!
Or you do what exactly? Hit me with that fish. Now, just sit down on the bed and shut up. Jesus wept. Look at my suit.
Look, just take whatever you want, but don't kill or rape me.
Don't give over, will you? I couldn't rape you if I wanted to. Angels are ill-equipped. See? I'm as anatomically impaired as a Ken doll. Now make yourself useful and give me that towel, will you? Honestly, you bottom feeders and your arrogance, you think everybody's just trying to get in your knickers.
What are you?
I'm pissed off is what I am. Do you go around drenching everybody that comes into your room with flame retardant chemicals? No wonder you're single.
We were going to end on that clip, and it's very, of course, dear to my heart and whatnot, because that's how he first entered my life. And we never worked together again after that movie. We talked about doing a bunch of stuff. He was almost in Red State. He was the original voice of Leonardo in the Clerks cartoon.
Oh, really?
That's why Leonardo looks like Hans Gruber.
Right.
Almost everything I ever worked on, I was always trying to get him back, but he was constantly working and
was
stuff,
in
and
demand.
you always figure that you have enough time, and you fucking don't. So if you're listening to this, you're here tonight and stuff, you're here with somebody you love, hold on to them, tell them how much they fucking mean to you, man. It goes like that. You have no idea. This clip was wonderful to go out on, but honestly, the better clip to show, which is a real celebration of fucking Alan Rickman, is from a movie that Anthony Minghella directed back in 1990 called Truly, Madly, Deeply. It's a story about a woman whose boyfriend, husband, or lover dies. Alan Rickman is lover Juliet Stevenson. He passes away, and then his ghost comes to hang out with her for like a time as she transitions. It's a beautiful movie, magical fantasy realism and stuff. But it's young Alan Rickman, and there's one scene where he sings. And, you know, I've watched every piece of work that the man's done. I was there when he did some of it. I'm sorry, I'm getting off of it. I know, hold on. He's gone, dude. He'll never be gone again. Hold on, let me just get through it. This scene, this flick right here, is probably him having the most fun he maybe ever had in his life. You could see it in his face. There's absolute exuberance and fucking joy. So let's bid farewell to Alan Rickman with this beautiful song clip from Truly, Madly, Deeply.
I love you.
I love you.
I really love you.
I really truly love you.
I really truly madly love you.
I really truly madly deeply love you.
I really truly madly deeply passionately love you.
I really truly madly deeply passionately remarkably love you.
I really truly madly deeply passionately remarkably deliciously love you.
Really truly madly passionately remarkably deliciously juicily love you.
Deeply. Deeply! You passed on deeply, which was your word, which means that you couldn't have meant it. So you're a fraud, actually. You're probably a figment of my imagination. Juicily. Your forfeit. You play, I dance.
Is the coat you wear
Jamie, baby.
shade of blue? Is always there.
Jane.
Sun ain't gonna shine anymore. The moon ain't gonna rise in the skies. The tears are always clouding your eyes.
Is the place you're in.
David, baby.
No more to lose and no more to win.
Sun ain't gonna shine any
Sun ain't gonna shine anymore.
moon ain't gonna rise in the
Moon ain't gonna rise in the sky. Tears are always coming in your eyes when you're without love. I'll go.
No, no.
It's beautiful.
Huge cauldron of wind. He will be missed.
Yeah.